Caution flag moved a couple of our Koch family of drivers back on the lead lap. Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton there with Bill Elliott ninth. Ricky Rudd, Michael Waltrip, Kyle Petty a lap down in the running order. Bobby Labonte, John Andretti, and Tony Stewart leading, taken out in that crash. Dale Jarrett, oil pump drive belt broke, and Steve Park crashed like Stewart. Bad day to lead this race, Darrell.
Boy, I know we saw the leader taken out, early in the race. Park. Tony Stewart taken out in this situation. And you know what's going to be interesting? We got Rudd, Nemechek, Michael, and Kyle Petty, and Jeremy Mayfield, and Bobby Labonte one lap down that are going to restart on the inside again.
All right, let's go to Steve in the garage.
Mike caught up with Jimmy Spencer. Jimmy, first of all, glad to see you're okay. Can you tell us what happened? That was a bad one.
Yeah, it really was bad. Some lap car there just got loose or whatever and hit Tony, and we saw that, and but it's all bottlenecked over there, and I got hit really hard from behind and then pushed into Tony really hard. But we had a really good car today. Awesome car, another top 5 run. I really felt like I had an opportunity to win. The thing would fly on new tires, and we made some adjustments to make it better, and we got it worse at one time, put it back to where we were, and we knew we had one more pit stop. And I'm very upset by it, but at least nobody got hurt. Tony's going to be all right. And talking to him, so I'm glad that's more important than anything to me, especially when I was the one that got pushed into him. But lap cars, everybody's a lap car, but sometimes you have to realize that you got to give way, because the lap car ain't going to win this damn race, but the lap cars, that's what they want to do, and the idiots cause major pileup, take out 3 or 4 of the leaders. It's just not right.
Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon has told his crew that when he got into the accident, he simply could not see. There was so much smoke there. He has made 5 pit stops, during which they put a piece of plastic like this on the right front nose to give him the proper aerodynamics. It is riveted in. It is also taped in by one of these foot-wide, actually several of these foot-wide pieces of tape. And just a few moments ago, Gordon, who is right now 12th on the speedway on the lead lap, told the crew it's one of the best cars he's ever had here at Darlington. They've loosened the car up a little bit because he's got some traffic to go through before he gets to the front.
It's not pretty, but, well, we'll see if it'll work when they drop the green flag for the restart. A grinding crash, 11 cars in it, hard hits. 10 of the 11 drivers walk away, and as Jimmy Spencer pointed out, the other, Tony Stewart, is going to be okay. All because of NASCAR safety implements. Jeff Hammond.
That's right, Mike. I'm sitting inside our cutaway car, and as you can see, I'm pretty much capsulated inside here. New head restraints on both sides of me, so if I happen to hit the wall real hard or get hit by another car, my head will be over against these big, long, cushiony things. You might call it head restraints. Again, safety restraints. Nice wide belts, 6-point harness a lot of times to keep the drivers pulled down really tight in these cars so they don't have any problems. And you can see door bars here, second to none as far as the workmanship right here to try to protect the drivers. That's why when Tony Stewart took a shot over in the right side, he was able to, to withstand that shot, as well as the rest of the drivers that were involved. You don't think about just the guys who walked away, but in Tony's case, more than likely, these new safety restraints with these head deals especially, as well as the Hans or the Hutchins device, probably minimize his injuries today, and I bet you he'll be back in Bristol ready to go again.
Thanks, Jeff. Mark Martin's returned to the race, minus a lot of sheet metal. Here's another look at it. Tony commits low as Buckshot Jones then comes right down the racetrack.
Yeah, but what happened is Buckshot got loose, and then when he tried to catch it, it just came down in front of Tony.
And it was Schrader, Kenny Schrader, who got into the back of Jimmy Spencer, sending Spencer headlong into Tony Stewart. Let's go to Steve.
Mike, we've caught up with Kenny Schrader. Team hard at work on the front of this Pontiac, but there's not much left. Kenny, what happened?
Spotters said turn 2, and wow, that's where I'm at, and a lot of smoke. I couldn't see what happened. I saw on the TV that something, I guess, started with the 44 and the 20, just what I saw, but just a lot of smoke, and you go into it and you just know there's a good chance you're not going to make it through, and then just guys kept running into one another. Just
heavy impact.
Well, it's just quick stops. You weren't running that fast and stuff. Or you don't think you are, I guess. You're running faster than you think. And yeah, I went over Tony, and he was a little groggy, but looked like everybody'd be okay.
Glad you're okay, Kenny. Thanks.
Yeah, the reason I felt kind of sorry for Schrader was, he was the first guy to car down in Daytona back last February, and I worried about him.
So Sterling Marlin, the point leader, becomes the race leader.
was like a champion. He laid back, was smart.
Yes, he did. Look, I couldn't see nothing. All of a sudden, smoke cleared, and there's that 20. Barely missed. That's a hell of a job, Sterling.
Well, it was a great job. I mean, you got to be lucky as well as good. And on some days, you can be both.
And I think that's basically what Sterling Marlin was saying. You know, I couldn't see. I just happened to go to the right place at the right time.
Must have a leprechaun on the ride-along program today. Tony Stewart is going to be airlifted by helicopter to a local hospital to get him checked out. We have no report yet on any injuries. Our hope is that this is precautionary. We have had 2 drivers tell us that they've talked to Stewart and he's going to be okay.
Well, might get sighting here again, boys.
Coming to another green flag. 53 laps to go. 12 cars on the lead lap.
Marlin, Stewart, or Marlin, Earnhardt Jr., Sadler, Harvick, and Newman. 1 veteran and 4 young guns at the front, and one of them wants the lead.
Inside, clear behind him, clear low.
He didn't waste no time taking that lead.
No, and just think, just a few minutes ago, he was a lap down.
But Darrell, you got to remember, and we know he was in clean air, and we talked about that. He pulled away from those leaders by 10 seconds.
Well, he's in clean air again, and he's going to be hard to chase down with 50-some laps to go. He's not going to have to pit again. So I think he's in pretty good shape right now. And Gordon back here got a great car, but he's got to go through 10 other cars to get to him.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. down on that apron, shoots that car back up the racetrack to the top of turn 1 and 2.
He's done that a lot today when he's been running by himself. And Darrell, he didn't waste a lot of time or his car taking the lead. He just went right after it and got it.
His car's been really good all day on new tires. Sterling's been really good on the longer runs. Elliott Sadler's been kind of right in the middle, so I wouldn't count him out either.
But we saw what Elliott Sadler did there. It's a lot of things we've seen Spencer do a lot, try to get to the bottom, and as you say, you bog the car down. You just can't get the run up off the corner.
You almost want to shift gears. You need to get it up in 3rd gear, get a little power up off the corner.
All these cars now are at pit road lap 225. That's 68 laps to go. As far as any strategy, you just go to you see a checkered flag, or if we see another caution flag, you'll get 4 more tires.
Yeah, don't be hollering about tires, because you're going to go to the finish on what you got.
As I like to say, you got what you got.
You got what you got. Now work your hands and not your mouth.
And do you think that's why Sterling Marlin did not put up a fight for the lead?
I think Sterling knows his car well enough to know that it's going to come to him, and Dale Jr.'s is going to go away, and he's set right where he wants to.
Let's go to the pits.
Hey, DW, you're exactly right. We heard Tony Glover say on a short run, there's a lot of guys better than you, but after 10 or 12 laps, you are by far the best car on the racetrack, so be patient. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Steve, an update from the hospital here. NASCAR officials Mike Zizzo has reported that Tony Stewart is complaining about pain in his lower back and lower leg area. He is going to be airlifted to Carolinas Medical Center in Florence for x-rays, but right now the prognosis looks good for Stewart.
Thanks, Matt.
You get knocked around like that inside the car, your body goes through a lot of twists and turns. He's going to be sore, and hopefully he'll be fine. The bad news is he's got to run 500 miles at Bristol next weekend.
Oh, boy.
Isn't it 500 laps? It just feels like 500 miles?
What did I say, 500 miles?
Yeah.
It does feel like 500 miles.
You know, I've been watching the score monitor, and I think this says a lot for how good Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is. Our monitor will tell us who ran the fastest lap when they ran it. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has run the fastest lap of his race just 3 laps ago, 29.97.
Boy, that's faster than anybody. Nobody's been in the 29 since the race started. But those young guys out front, they can gas it up.
Especially you put them with less than 100 laps to go.
The race pace has picked up. 8 drivers have just turned their fastest lap of the race.
And I tell you, I think why that is, we were under 15 laps of caution. NASCAR blew the racetrack with the blowers. Got all the debris off of it, got all the rubber off of it. She's got a little more grip than she had before that caution.
Yeah, and it's late in the day, and I'm sure our track temperatures have probably come down some, so that's picked up the speed.
Earnhardt Jr. quickest, Ryan Newman coming on.
I just can't. I'm impressed with Ryan Newman. I was impressed with his qualifying run. I don't know how he made it through that run. And today to get in that backup car, keep his calm, cool, collective. Here he is in the top 5.
And sitting second in points.
Second in the points. Chasing a veteran. Pretty savvy little guy there. Pretty savvy race car driver.
Now, Kevin Harvick was one of those who were caught on the tail end of the lead lap by the earlier crash at caution, by the Kurt Busch spin and Brett Bodine crash.
I mean, he started in 16th, and he's just one of those guys that picked the right spot to go through in that big cloud of smoke back on the backstretch.
I've been watching Jeff Gordon in his car, and again, just like before, Larry, it's just not that good in traffic. Now, once these cars get single file and spread out a little bit, he might be all right, but I don't think he's got enough time to chase down Junior.
No, he's back in 11th position, 7.5 seconds behind Dale Earnhardt Jr.
The only thing that'll help anybody, and it's going to be a while happening, is traffic, and there's just not going to be that much.
Now you see he's a little quicker than Junior. That number, well, now it goes back up again. It was coming down.
Gordon has a terrible time off turn 2. His car is too tight off that corner.
I believe Sterling Marlin's car is coming to life here about 10 laps after this restart to the outside.
Look,
going into turn
smart racing. We don't need to be held up here. Gordon's back there. They know that. That's a product of being worried about the guys back there back behind them. Let Sterling get in front. You follow him. He's faster than you are. I can't tell you how smart that is. That's so impressive when you see somebody do stuff like that.
Don't race him now. Race him 40 laps from now. 43 to go as the track too tough to tame. Darlington. Welcome back to Darlington. Wonder what that fella drove to the track today.
He's happy right now, I know that.
Sterling Marlin in a Dodge leading Elliott Sadler's Ford. He's passed Dale Earnhardt Jr. for second place. So it's Dodge, Ford, Chevrolet.
And you know, I said that Dale Jr. was smart by letting Sterling go by. Folks, there's a strategy to everything that you do. The teams, the spotters, everybody's talking to the driver. You don't just go out there and hold people up and get yourself in trouble. There's a time to pull over and let somebody go, a time to follow them, a time to race. That's part of the whole deal.
Here's that race for second place.
And you can see, Junior just pulled down. His spotter called him, his crew called him, said, look, 21's faster than you are, let him go.
Just like he did for Sterling Marlin a few laps ago.
And we beat ourselves to death here about racing the track. He's racing the track.
Now there's Tony Stewart, who is going to be airlifted for X-rays. Again, which we hope are precautionary, as Matt reported. Young guns. Maybe we talked too much about young guns last week. We thought today would be the day of the savvy veterans. But look who's up there in the top 5. 4 out of 5. Sadler, Earnhardt Jr., Harvick, and Newman. And right behind Newman, Jimmy Johnson's almost. He only lacks a car length to be in the top 5.
Well, we don't want to forget about Rusty Wallace, who's in 7th place. You know, he's had an up and down day, but right now he's in the top 10 there, having a great day, and his old heap's running pretty good.
Rusty with 2 second place finishes here. Never won here.
Oh, don't say that. It makes him mad.
Never yet. Hasn't won here.
Right.
That's it.
There's Russell. He just tootling along. Kept his nose clean. His car not beat up.
Elliott Sadler.
Whoa!
Sterling Marlin in.
I think something happened to Sterling.
Did he get a piece of the concrete?
He may have.
Let's see.
They're all around. Back at your
Car comes by. No really apparent damage.
He got pretty close, Dick.
Elliott Sadler has simply been reeling him in. We've been watching the scoring monitor, and lap after lap after lap, this interval is getting smaller and smaller, and Elliott Sadler right now has got his eye on the leader. What a day this would be if this young kid could win here at Darlington this afternoon.
And we were talking about Bristol next week, and who is the defending champion of that race next week?
Mr. Elliott Sadler.
You got it. So that working out he's been doing for the interviews, he might be able to get a few of them, Jeff. Well,
I hope you're right there, DW, because that's a fine young man right there, and he's right now up on top of that wheel, holding a pretty wheel as we watch him come through off that corner trying to run down Sterling Marlin. I don't mind if he outruns me today.
Well, that 21 is no stranger to victory lane here. The Wood brothers 8 times have won at Darlington, and David Pearson, who carried that 21 to many of those wins, is the track's all-time winner with 10 victories.
Clear.
You saw Mark Martin, who returned to the racetrack. Ward Burton has also come back on track after that crash.
Came in here 3rd in points. Every lap is important when you're battling for that championship.
31 laps to go at Darlington on Fox.
The Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
5th place is the race. Ryan Newman battling Jimmy Johnson, trying to hold Johnson off for 5th.
They've been battling for about 25 laps.
Well, this is the Rookie of the Year battle as well, right here.
And they got to use, it's getting late in the day, and they got both of them in the top, let's see, 5 here. 6th, 5th, and 6th. They got to take care of their stuff and not wreck each other. That's the main thing.
Darrell, 8 of the top 10 drivers right now have never won here.
And pretty young, too.
Here comes Johnson down on the inside of Ryan Newman down here.
Never thought Dale Earnhardt Jr. we could say he's older than 4 of these guys, 27 years old.
The Wood brothers have 8 victories here. Cale Yarborough gave them their first back in 1968. David Pearson won 6 times. And Neil Bonnet, the Southern 500, 1981. The most recent win here for Glenn and Leonard Wood. Here's Dick.
Leonard Wood, one of the original members of the Wood brothers, first came to this racetrack in 1953. Now age 67. Guess who was underneath the hood of the race car this morning setting up the carburetor on Elliott Sadler's car? Leonard Wood nervously watching his car running in 2nd spot.
What a shame. Jerry Nader in the 25 car, one of the lucky guys, got that back on the lead lap a while ago. He's had a really not a good year. His best finish 15th at Las Vegas. He was running 10th, and here he comes to pit road with about 20-something laps to go.
Dave Blaney back in the race and in the pits, back into the race after that crash. Let's go back down to Dick.
Well, Jeff Gordon has called into his pit crew and said he thinks he has a tire going down in that number 24 car.
Luck is fleeting, especially at this place.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon sits there, leads the race, uncontested, gets in trouble off of turn 2, no fault of his own, and now his day's gone down to 2.
But his real turning point was not of his making, Darrell.
Oh, yeah.
He had came to pit road for 4 tires, routine pit stop. Kurt Busch, we think, misses pit road, brings the caution out, puts him back in the field. Now look at him here.
Yep.
Well, it's been a bad day to be the leader. Steve Hart led the race, ran over a lapped car. Jeff Gordon got caught up when Tony Stewart, leading the race, ran over a lapped car. Been a bad day to be the leader.
Hey, who's got I'm telling you, got a pretty good old heat period. Rusty Wallace. He keeps closing in on that 48 and 12 up in front of him there.
Well, as long as those guys run side by side, which that's what you're supposed to do with 20-something laps to go. You don't let anybody have anything. Rusty will continue to reel them in.
He made some adjustments early in the race, got him way behind. I thought he really got himself in trouble, but he's dug himself out of the hole, and here he is, running in the 7th spot.
For the first time since Daytona, all 3 of NASCAR's premier divisions in action at the same track on the same weekend. Let's give you a little bit of update. As yesterday, Jeff Burton led flag to flag in the Busch race. You saw on FX, Jason Keller picked up the point lead by 12 over Greg Biffle after 4 races. And in the Craftsman Truck Series, Sears presents the points. Ted Musgrave and Robert Presley, with identical finishes in the 2 races, are tied for the lead. Sterling Marlin out front of Elliott Sadler now by 1.5 seconds with 19 laps to go. Welcome back to Darlington. Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip. We're closing in. We're 15 laps to go. Marlin, Sadler, and Earnhardt. Kevin Harvick, the first 4, but the big battle on the racetrack has been for 5th place. Ryan Newman has been trying to hold off Jimmy Johnson and Newman's teammate Rusty Wallace. And Jeff Hammond, Rusty, he's got a little bit of score to settle, but not necessarily with these 2 guys.
That's exactly right, Mike. Today I was talking to Bill Wilburn, who is Rusty's crew chief, and Bill has got a sprint car that Johnny Herrera drives for him on the World Outlaw circuit. Well, last night at the Devil's Bowl, Johnny finished 5th. So he went to Rusty and said, hey, you got to do better than my sprint car did. And Rusty said, no problem. I'm going to run 5th or better today, and you can bet on that. It's just a friendly bet, strictly for pride, and it looks like Rusty's trying to hold his end up.
Still there.
He's faster than these guys. He got caught up a couple of times here in traffic. I think he's got Jimmy this time. Oh, no, see, that's a rookie now. See how a rookie races on the outside into that corner? That was not a smart thing to do. They made it. And I know, well, they're racing for the, it's the end of the day, but you got to be really careful doing that. You'll take both cars out.
If Rusty wasn't a veteran that he is, it probably would have already happened.
Rusty probably anticipated that happening. Now, Rusty's probably calling his spotter and saying, hey, tell that guy I'm better than he is and get out of my way.
Of all the cars that was in that big wreck, the only 3 that are in the garage area that will not be back out, of course, Tony Stewart, Jimmy Spencer. Kenny Schrader came back out and completed 1 lap. What that did, that moved him up 2 positions in front of Tony Stewart and Jimmy Spencer. Then he went back to the garage area, gained those 2 positions by running 1 lap.
And that's 6 points at the end of the season. That could be meaningful.
Yes, it could.
Elliott Sadler is 2.7 seconds off the lead, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. has now fallen 6 seconds back. Earnhardt is under pressure from Kevin Harvick for that 3rd position.
And you got it. That's really impressive with Harvick too, Larry, because Harvick was not even in a contention all day long until he got back on the lead lap after that wreck.
No, I mean, those guys, they were struggling in practice yesterday. They've just kind of been just so-so ever since they unloaded here on Friday morning. But again, he got back on the lead lap after that big wreck and was in position.
Yeah, he needs a good run because he's really been struggling. And that team's kind of down. They haven't lived up to their expectations this year yet.
Not at all.
10 to go.
And let me tell you, there ain't a guy out there and ain't saying, boy, I'll be glad when this is over with.
And Harvick is about 1/10 of a lap faster than Dale Earnhardt Jr. He runs up on it, especially off the corner. Right here on the straightaway, Dale Earnhardt Jr. pulls him a little bit.
Hard to make the passes here. You got to have the whole racetrack or else you take a chance. And you don't want to take a chance this late in the race.
And this is going to be a full run on this set of tires right here. They were on pit road at lap 225. That's 60-something laps besides the caution laps they ran. So, I mean, this is one of the longest runs that they've had all day on their tires.
And the key for Sterling Marlin is on that last restart, he didn't race Dale Earnhardt Jr. He let him go, saved his car, and put himself in a position to win.
He didn't save his tires, he just didn't abuse them.
Didn't abuse them. All right. He's had that knowledge. He's got experience, but he's also got knowledge. That's all that stuff you write down all the time, Larry.
There you go.
The book of wisdom. Now, if you can just get somebody to use it and listen to you, you'll be okay. Like my crew chief, boy, you've got to believe what I'm trying to tell you.
Sadler is 3 seconds back. Junior is 6 seconds back with Harvick. Ryan Newman is 9 seconds back with Jimmy Johnson and Rusty Wallace. Then Matt Kenseth 11 seconds back in 8th. Jeff Gordon is 9th. Bill Elliott 10th. Jeff Burton 11th.
That's a good solid day for Bill Elliott. We talked about it earlier in the race. Just has stayed out of trouble.
Bill, I told you when the end of the day came, he'd be in the top 10. He wouldn't have a scratch on his car.
10 years ago, he won this race. His 4th consecutive victory in the Junior Johnson number 11.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to be here for a while. You're getting out of Bill just what Bill can do. He runs the race. He runs all day. He stays out of trouble. Gets a good finish.
3rd place. This isn't over.
By no means, with 6 laps to go.
Earnhardt Jr. and Harvick.
And they have enough cushion on Ryan Newman back in 5th in the 12 car. They can get up here and go after it a little bit. Harvick pulls right up on the rear bumper. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Harvick's been beating him, getting down in the corner right there, down to the bottom side. Now, will it stick?
No. But here's the thing. Remember how Junior pulled over and let the 40 and the 21 go by?
So there by nose, still there. Clear, all clear, all clear.
I don't think he was just waving to him.
No, he wasn't. That's cooling off that glove because it was smoke.
Yes.
So I ain't pulling over for you there, bud. You're going to have to get by me.
Man, what a battle between these two guys.
Well, they're having fun. Now, believe it or not, these two guys are probably having fun.
Oh, he did it. He pulled over, Daryl. He's pretty smart. He done had enough on the front stretch.
Close as fast as your mirror.
Well, you talk about double dipping. They double dipped all the way through turn 4 here.
You want that spot that bad, you just go ahead and, yeah. I'll deal with you later. Hey, what are you thinking? Man, is the race about over with?
I'm sliding around, y'all over the top of me.
If third's that important to you, just have at it. I think Junior's just trying to hang on, right here to get to the finish.
He's 3.5 more laps. We'll get us a good nice top 3 or 4. Top 4.
Yeah, he has a big handful right there.
He's going to have a hard time holding off to the trail car because he is closing in a hurry.
14 up here again.
Sterling Marlin, all those Carolina Dodge dealers who've named this race are breathing a little easier with him out front by 3.5 seconds with 3 to go.
There's a lot of lap traffic up there. That kind of lead, you just need to pick and choose where you go by these guys.
Yeah, he's under no pressure. I mean, he can just about coast in from here. I know he'd just soon not to run up on anybody else. He just soon to follow him. And I don't think he'd have anything to worry about.
We're all around 2 to go.
And here comes Newman.
Yeah, he's closing in a hurry. Here comes the 48 and the 2 both. So Junior's going to have his hands full here with last couple laps.
I think he's done made those tires mad.
Yeah, he's done ticked those tires off, and he's in no position to hold anybody up. That has a whole lot to do with it. You know your car's not good enough to outrun somebody. You get run over from behind, get spun out, and cost yourself a good finish.
Boy, what a season this guy's having. I mean, 4 top 10s, leading the points.
We're all around, no pressure.
He's consistent every week.
Champ material. And look, wasn't afraid to change the motor and go to the rear. Weren't worried. A lot of guys say, well, we're doomed.
And wasn't afraid to let people pass him. Say, I'll race you when the time comes.
2 guys that went to the rear are first and second point men. Where are they now?
Right up there.
First and fifth.
It's wiggling. Get back to the line. You got no pressure.
Sterling Marlin will get his 8th consecutive top 10 finish, his 10th Winston Cup career win, and his 2nd win of 2002. Marlin wins the Carolina Dodge Dealers 400.
You're a snake, man. You're a snake.
Elliott Sadler 2nd. Harvick 3rd, and for 4th, Earnhardt Jr. holds off Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, and Rusty Wallace.
And a fast closing Matt Kenseth.
Jeff Gordon ends up 9th, Bill Elliott 10th.
Great job.
Chip Ganassi, car owner.
2nd Darlington win for Sterling in 37 starts here. He won this race in 1995. Now, though he started last in a backup car, he'll be credited with starting 11th. That's where he qualified for this race. Steve Burns.
Thanks, Mike.
Did a great job.
Lee, you guys did that one the hard way. Have to drop all the way to the rear of the field. How does it feel?
Man, it feels great. I tell you what, got the best driver out there, got the best crew, got best sponsors, best car owners. You know, to come from dead last and to win here today is certainly a contribute to how strong our race team is, and certainly Sterling, just an awesome guy, and just so proud of this race team. And I'd like to thank Coors and Dodge, Coors Light. I love it, man. We again, we had a great car, and we were really good again on the long runs. We weren't good, never good on the short runs. Took our car about 15, 20 laps come in, and you got to race this old racetrack, just like I said earlier. And you know, unfortunately, it come up and bit a few people, but that's what we had to do, is race this old racetrack today.
Let's go to victory lane, Lee.
Thank you, bud.
2 for Sterling Marlin, and he extends his point lead.
And you know, I'm really proud. I'm happy for Sterling to get the opportunity to show just how good a race car driver he is. Sterling he has probably the most experience of anybody in the garage area right now, and he's been with a lot of teams, but this one is the right one for him, the right combination.
They're doing all the right things.
Tony Glover's there with him. They've worked well together in the past. Lee McCall doing a great job working on the car. All that stuff he got at the headrest and everything makes it a little difficult to get out sometimes.
It's becoming a familiar sight. Sterling Marlin in victory lane with Dick Berggren.
Attaboy, Sterling Marlin. What a great job. They talk about how tough this racetrack is, and we're looking at all the bed-up race cars. How'd you get through all that stuff from the back of the pack and wind up here?
A great race team. I mean, Chip and Felix has sent a great race team, and all the guys at the shop and here, and they're just a great bunch of guys. And I was real lucky, when they wrecked off 2 over there, I almost hit Tony and got through it. Hope everybody's okay. I know they had to cut Tony out, I guess. Hope he's okay. And 2 or 3 got shook up. Hope my teammates okay. And like to thank Coors Light, Dodge, Target, Goodyear, all these guys. It's great.
You're looking at all the decals. Hey, you've been with some pretty terrific teams before, but this is something that has never happened in your career, running up front week after week after week. Why?
I tell you, it just feels good. This team's got a lot of determination, and we're going to race every race, try to win it, and try to win this championship. I mean, I'm 44, and it's the best team I've ever been with, and they got me some great race cars. This is one we won Vegas with, and they got a couple more like it coming up, so we're ready for them, I think.
Were you thinking motor at all today?
No, Ernie didn't do a great job, and we had to go to the back, start the race. They seen a lifter, it didn't look just right, and why chance we're leading the points, and it's kind of tough to pass here. It's a place you get in trouble pretty quick if you don't watch it, but had a good car, just took her time, come up through the pack, and things worked out.
Having the best ride of his entire life. Sterling Marlin, winner this afternoon at Darlington. Mike?
Sterling Marlin has tamed the Lady in Black. Welcome to our Carolina Dodge Dealers post-race show. Here at Darlington, Sterling Marlin is your winner. Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick. And with Elliott Sadler, our runner-up, Steve Burns.
And with Elliott Sadler, get in here. That was a great run. You need to tell us about it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool right there. I mean, to run up front all day like that, get a lap down, the guys not give up on me. Great pit stops all day. This Motorcraft Ford Taurus is pretty good. The owner made a decision Thursday morning before we left to come here. We switched cars. This was not the car we were going to bring, but those guys decided to bring it here, and it paid off. Great finish.
All right, great run, Elliott. Let's go to Matt.
Well, Junior, back when you made your first start here, when you completed that race, I said, how do you sum it up? And you said it was like you and about 10 cartons of TNT Dynamite. How about today?
It's a little bit better. We came here, rolled off the trailer real comfortable. Steve Park tested here, and we used a lot of his stuff and used some of Michael's shocks from his practice yesterday, and the cars seem to be real good. Just not quite as good, as the 40 and the 21, them guys, but to get out of here with a top 5 is the first one we've ever had, so I'm real happy, real excited. Good for our point situation, maybe a bump us up 10th or so.
I never knew you drove a limo on an ice rink before.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. It's kind of like driving a Zamboni, but it gets old. But on new tires, it's a lot of fun. But driving around, sliding around, man, it makes for a hard day's work. We definitely put it in today.
Second straight top 5 finish for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Steve?
Well, thanks, Matt. Caught up with Ryan Newman. Ryan, you guys did it the hard way again. You had to go to the rear. Had a great qualifying run. Tell us about your day.
Well, like you said, we had a great qualifying run on Friday, but I think we cut a left rear tire down in practice, and I got loose and got up and got it in the wall, and I had to go to the backup car for race day here. And it just says a lot about the team to bring a brand new race car right off the truck. No time on the racetrack at all. This is the first lap. This car's turn today. It was the first lap of the race, and the pit stops were awesome. Just a great day for us in LTL Ford, and there's a lot of good things we can bring out of this.
Great job, Brian. Let's go back to Matt.
Well, Steve, coming in today, Kevin Harvick averaged a 30th place finish. And how about today? The old lady in black, you didn't do too bad.
No, we struggled a little bit at the beginning, but we kept ourselves on a lead lap. And then about the 3rd or 4th stop, car came on. We got ourselves solidly in the top 10 and got caught under the pits, under the green in the pits there. And luckily, that was a good thing, it looked like. So we gained a couple spots off of that wreck, but I think we had a top 7 or 8 car, and we needed this for these Goodwrench guys and everybody on this team.
We'll see you next week at Bristol. To Dick Berggren.
With Chip Ganassi, he has just waded through the entire crew, shaking hands with just about everybody on the way. Mister, everything you touch in auto racing winds up in victory lane. What is your magic touch?
My magic touch is I'm fortunate to run into some great people, and whether it starts down here with Felix Sabatas or Andy Graves and Tony Glover and Sterling and Ernie Elliott and just the whole gang. I'm lucky that I run into good people. That's what it is.
This guy, doesn't matter. Indy cars, Winston Cup cars, he wins in all of them.
Sterling Marlin, second time this year as a winner, celebrating there with the Dodge dealers in victory lane.
Elliott Sadler gets his second place finish of the year, finishes second at Daytona 500 and second here today.
Yeah, and you don't want to come to Darlington unless you got your work clothes on.
Right.
So that's what you have. That's a day's work, just like Dale Jr. said.
Bill Elliott dodged the big wreck there, ends up in the top 10.
We asked Sterling Marlin about was he worried about the motor. He wasn't worried about the motor. I'm sure what he was worried about was getting to the front without having a problem.
The attrition was high. 9 drivers failed to finish, ended up in the garage. That will turn some of the top 10 of the points topsy-turvy, with Tony Stewart, who came in here 5th in the standings, being one of those.
Not a good day to be leading the race.
No,
except
day to lead.
Except at the end.
Yeah, right.
Pole sitter Ricky Craven finishes 41st. Looked like he had a car that was going to be up there contending for the win.
And how about those rookies finishing 5th and 6th? Let's go back downstairs to Steve.
And we've caught up with one of them, Jimmy Johnson. Boy, look at the leaderboard. You come here, finish 6th.
The cool thing is if you walk around this race car, there isn't a stripe or any dents or anything on it. So the guys in the fab shop, there's no work from my side. So just honestly, this is probably the highlight of my career to come here and be this competitive at Darlington. We got caught down a lap in the pits when the caution came out, and then had the big wreck on the backstretch where we were able to get back caught up. And this is awesome. All the support from Hedrick Motorsports, everyone at home watching, all the departments, and all the support from the Lowe's employee owners. We're having a blast. This is cool.
I can tell. Congratulations. Let's go to Chris.
All right, thank you very much. So let's have a look at the point standings. Sterling Marlin, who came in as the leader, fattens that lead, but Ryan Newman trying to hang with him, and Rusty Wallace, who has never won here in Darlington, with a strong finish to move up to 4th. And you see the rookie Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon 6th, with Jeff Hammett here in the Hollywood Hotel. It was not a good day. This was really a theater for the bizarre, with some of the different storylines we had working and some of the crashes we had, from Steve Park's return, Jeff Gordon trying to snap out of his slump, certainly Tony Stewart trying to win back-to-back races. Sterling Marlin ends up winning it. Let's go early. Steve Park had the lead and led on lap 38 until this wreck took place.
Yes, right there. He's trying to get under Stacy Compton, a lap car, and as a lot of the drivers said, it felt like that was very influential as far as him getting into him and then eventually wrecking, putting him out of the race.
And returning to racing, to the scene that knocked him out 6 months ago, Steve Park was able to at least return in the race in his car. As for Tony Stewart, he had the lead. This is on lap 226. And Buckshot Jones slowing down, causing Stewart to wreck. And then with the smoke, obviously a number of cars. You see Jeff Gordon sneaking by, Sterling Marlin. But then the Chip Ganassi car with Jimmy Spencer actually being pushed from Ken Schrader and running into him.
Yeah, all that smoke right there, Chris. And everybody keeps talking about lap traffic. Lap traffic, and these racetrack in particular, it's so slick off of turn 2. We saw Buckshot Jones. He got loose. The 20 car of Tony Stewart came in there, didn't have a place to go. They collected each other up, and next thing you know, we had a massive crash over there. We're very lucky that Tony Stewart wasn't more injured than what he was.
11 cars involved, and because of some of the safety improvements from the Hans or the Hutchins device or some of the other safety devices in the car, everyone walked away except Tony Stewart. He was taken, the official release here, to Carolina's hospital system in Florence by air, Florence, South Carolina. He was conscious and alert, complaining of pain in his lower back. He was also complaining of numbness and tingling in his left foot. As you got to look at Victory Lane and Sterling Marlin and his gang. But Tony Stewart will undergo a CAT scan of the head, back, and abdomen. But some of the other drivers did speak with him and said he was in good spirits and appears to have gotten out of that in terrific shape when you consider the wreck. And the key, that pileup, really, is we saw the cars going through Jeff Hammond. Sterling Marlin, one of those, to get through without any serious damage to his car, and then he was able to maintain that lead later.
And we were able to hear him over the air calling Tony Glover and Lee McCall, letting them know, man, I'm coming through the smoke, and all of a sudden I turned, and he saw there was Tony Stewart. He made the right decision. He cut underneath Tony Stewart, avoided that accident right there, and it had to be the key moment as far as his victory is concerned. Then his knowledge of the racetrack and experience came together. He was able to maintain a certain pace, didn't get excited with Earnhardt when he took the lead from him, got it back, and drove to victory.
Sterling Marlin, a captain on his high school team as a quarterback and linebacker when he played football, so used to surviving pileups, and he got through that one, this time in a car, to win the race here in Darlington. Tonight, of course, some more wrapping up on Fox Sports Net. Next Saturday, the Busch race on FX, and then the final hour of Winston Cup practice, and then Sunday in Bristol. And again, Elliott Sadler, a strong finish here, finishing second, the defending champ. NASCAR this morning on Fox Sports Net starts it, and then you'll see the race on Fox and wrapped up on Victory Lane, all access on Fox Sports Net. Sterling Marlin, your winner. The Lady in Black, tough on a number of cars. Elliott Sadler finishing second, Kevin Harvick third. UPS, the official delivery company of NASCAR, delivers a chance to win 4 tickets to the 2003 Daytona 500 on Fox by logging on to foxsports.com, keyword UPS Racing. Quickly, Jeff Hammond, a couple of other storylines. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the rookies, Ryan Newman, and Jimmy Johnson finishing 5th and 6th.
You really can't say enough about it. There was a perfect example of how Ryan Newman is showing he's got a lot of support, I think, from the Penske group. He's very calm, came from the back of the pack, stayed second points after a tough race.
And the drought for Jeff Gordon continues. 13 straight races, finishing out of the top 5. And again, his last victory came last September in Kansas. But the 11-car crash up the key as Sterling Marlin made it through and all the way to victory lane. A number of other drivers surviving well. Once again, the track that has the nickname Too Tough to Tame took its toll on the best drivers in the world. Steve Park did return to racing. Jeff Gordon did lead the most laps. Tony Stewart did have the lead, but after the 11-car pileup, Sterling Marlin survived to win. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We'll see you next week in Bristol, Connecticut. For all of us, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox.
Hey, everybody.